What's up and welcome to episode 45 of How Not to Summon a Podcast. As always, I'm Shinny Senpai, and this week I am joined by the only thing more annoying than Yuki, Jim.
I'm offended.
And the guy who loves a bit of Marco, Grayson.
I have no idea what that means.
It's the Space Dandy character.
Oh, yeah. Is that his name?
Yeah,
my ADHD spaced out when I was watching him.
And this week we are going to be reviewing part 3 of The Future Diary. So we pick up with episode 13 where we left off. Look, I'm going to say this now. Episode 13.
Can I have my beer back? Yeah,
What?
cheers. Thanks.
He can have his beer back now.
Taking it off me during intros.
What was episode 13? Before we even get into it, like, we left it with the whole, like, bag full of drugs and needles and shit, right? And they're going supposedly on that date. Fucking episode 13 was the biggest piece of shit in
Now,
this.
how many dates have you been on where they've got...
A bag full of drugs.
drugs
That's a damn good fucking time.
If they throw munchies in there, I'm fucking in. You son
Let's
of a
go
bitch.
to a secluded place up in the mountains with my bag of drugs.
And wake up tied to a chair.
Scooby snacks. Hey,
And
being tied to a chair
skeletons.
can sometimes be a good thing. Let me tell you.
Not in James Bond, it wasn't.
Wrong, James.
I don't remember being tied to a chair.
So, episode 13 opens with Yuki and Yuno. They're on the bus. They're on their way to their date. They don't get off at the stop they're supposed to because Yuno doesn't want to. And she's like, I've got a different idea. Let's go to a different place.
I'm not trusting that.
And,
Be suspicious. Be suspicious.
and Yuki's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Let's go wherever you want to go. And we cut away from them and we see Deus again. And the kingdom around him, his little, is it the Akashic Records?
The Karsic, or whatever.
Yep, sure.
Karsic.
I'm feeling Karsic.
Yeah,
They're,
the Temple of Doom.
it's all starting to sort of crumble, crash around him because he is dying. And he also mentions the fact that he was he thought that Fourth was going to be in the game longer, Kurisu. He thought, I thought Kurisu would be around longer than he was.
I thought he planned it. He
And
even
no,
said,
so
I thought I planned
Murmur then piped up and was like, yeah, boss, that was me. I'm the reason that Fourth found out about his son earlier than he should have, because I wanted to hurry it up because you're dying. It's another indication that Murmur's not on the level, right?
Really not on the level.
Yeah. I mean, you early called it saying, Murmur wants to be... I mean, you weren't right, but you were right in a sense, because obviously Murmur's not after the throne, we see.
No.
But there is a different goal for her. But you were right, there is something sus about her from literally day one that you spotted.
Yeah. Well, look at her, for fuck's sake. No one looks at that and the way they shacks and goes, yep, that's perfectly fine, definitely not suspicious in any way, shape, or form.
Didn't have pink hair, though, so, I mean, it threw me.
Purple, though.
Purple.
So, and Minane had purple hair, and she's a crazy bitch.
Is that the explosive one?
Yes.
She's not crazy. Misunderstood.
Killed a school full of children.
Misunderstood.
To be fair. Have you met children nowadays?
That's getting cut.
Don't even have to say it these days, folks. They do it themselves.
He just did the signal. Anyway, we cut back to Yuno and Yuki, and Yuno suggests that she's going to go and get a drink for them both out of the vending machine. You're not touching this drink.
No, if I was one right now, I'd put a cling film on the top of that and scroll through.
And Yuki... Well, look, we see him drink the drink, and then that's all we see. Because we cut from that, and we get to see Hina and Mao. They're naked in a hot spring. Like, Jim's like, yeah. They're naked in a hot spring. They were invited by Akase to go up to this spa day up in the mountains. Strangely enough, close to where Yuki and Yuno were going to have their date.
What a coincidence.
And we also see that Mao is sneaking pictures underwater of Hina as well, because she's like, I thought I saw a flash under the water.
That's a damn good advertisement for that phone right there.
Jim's like, what phone is that?
Water resistant.
No, it's in a bag, isn't it?
No, I don't think it is.
Is it just a straight up?
It's just straight up
straight
phone.
up
And it's a
underwater.
flip phone.
It's a flippy phone.
What fucking flip
That's
phones could have gone
waterproof.
underwater?
Not
Yeah.
the 3310.
That wasn't a flip phone. But
That was a submarine.
Pressure resistant to like 1,000 feet.
And it's not just them that are there. Kozuka's there as well. I'm not a fan of Kozuka. He's just,
I hate him.
yeah.
Which one's Kozuka?
The one that sold Yuki out in the old school and then sold him out when he joined the new school, but yet
The
somehow,
badass.
somehow joined the
The
friendship.
badass.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
only a plot driver, and I only see him do
Is
two
he even
things
that?
through this
Really? I
entire
mean-
anime.
He's fucking
Yeah.
useless.
He pops up maybe
Three
once.
times, maybe.
He pops up once that's actually anything to do with a plot.
Well, he pops up with his own subsidiary diary later on.
Oh my
We'll come to that though. So Hina is also thinking of Yuki. So I don't know why they wanted to drive this, to be honest, because yeah, she's having thoughts of Yuki while she's in this hot spring and that, and
And nothing ever comes of it.
no, it's very odd that they try and drive that because you think, oh, maybe it was Yuki just with a fleeting sort of, oh, I quite like Hina, but you didn't think they were gonna play on reciprocation with it. It's
No.
just, yeah, it's just
It didn't
a weird
seem
thing.
reciprocated at the time. The first time.
No, but I guess he won her over with the whole like,
When in doubt, just try again. Just try again.
just
Till
like,
they get Stockholm syndrome.
We've seen this is basically an advertisement for Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, and whatever that phone is. That's hot water as well.
Yeah.
That is hot
Like I'm
water.
telling you.
And the camera shouldn't work underwater. It should just be a blurry mess.
I mean, it's Hina. It probably was a blurry mess. She's awfully fond of them dogs. Jim, Jim, there's no need for that. Bit.
The good old red knot.
Like,
Red rocket. Red rocket.
that was about 15 seconds, right? Sheeny, I always say that's getting cut, right? But you never do. You never do. This is for future Sheeny who's editing this. You never do cut it.
My diary didn't change. It's fine. We see that Nishijima is in contact with Akase. Akase is already sussed that something's not right with Yuno and Yuki's date, and he's recruited
What
Nishijima.
gave it away? What gave it away?
The
Yeah.
massive bag of drugs.
The massive bag of drugs.
Oh no, it's because in the last episode he said the police were looking for her. And she deleted the message on Yuki's phone. That's
Yeah,
right.
That
So,
and the massive bag of drugs.
so the whole group sort of get together and they're like, we've got to find out where Yuki is because he could be in trouble.
They haven't seen him for 5 days, have they?
Is it?
I
is it
think they said like 5
he's-
days.
Yeah,
that
he's been missing
missing
for a few days now. The date has gone on longer than it should have.
Long,
And
longer than like
they-
6 hours is a problem.
That's a fucking trip, innit? Jesus Christ.
they come up with
5-day
the
bender.
they come up with the idea, or Akase comes up with the idea of, can you research and see if Yuki or Yuno's parents owned a hotel up in the mountains near the area? And they find the rough location of where they want to look, and then he comes up with the idea of, well, he doesn't. Kozuka comes up with the idea-ish of looking for a place that has water and power.
Well, no, he goes for a piss and then realizes he can't wash his hands. And
Yes.
he's like, "You're an amazing idiot," basically.
Yeah, so they go looking for a hotel that still has water and power. And they come across the booby-trapped hotel. We've gone Home Alone for the second
Gwen,
time.
Instantly.
In
With
this show.
pickaxes.
This is Home
No?
Alone.
There's
Home
a
Alone
bit of a
2,
difference.
Lost in New York right now.
I mean, if
Home Alone 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Marv wouldn't have survived this one, I'm afraid.
Half would have been dead.
That's because it's not a paint can, it's a fucking hatchet.
I thought it was a pickaxe.
It might have been a pickaxe. Why is a pickaxe in a hotel?
I don't think it moved there itself.
Just so, why is it there?
This is not fucking Beauty and the Beast, like moving furniture and that. It's literally been like, oh, maybe I'll go over here. Hang myself from the top of a fucking elevator and wait
to
for
the top of this
somebody.
mountain and enjoy a genuine, authentic mining experience.
I thought you were going to go with a Coors Light beer, refreshing beer. I was like,
There's nothing good about a cause. Nothing.
So eventually, Hina gets a text message from Yuki's phone saying, Yuno's trapped me, come and help me, I'm in this hotel.
is any of us believing this?
I mean,
Not in a million years.
it's fucking clearly a trap. I looked at that and
I'm
been like,
surprised it wasn't a gif of General Akbar at the
I,
bottom of
s-
that
I
fucking
was
message.
thinking, yeah.
why doesn't she hold on as well?
Just
And
do a
just
little
say,
troll dance.
I'll just contact everybody and let them know. Instead, she runs off and turns around to Mao and is like, there's no time.
Let them know.
There's no time to do the thing that is mobile.
This entire thing is focused on mobile phones. Just flip open your phone and ring them.
It's almost like you can't run and be on loudspeaker.
And
You really shouldn't run and be on loudspeaker.
is it Mao then gets a text message?
Look at that.
Look at what? Look at what?
It's a helicopter.
That's a fucking Apache helicopter. Just flown over that way. That's the first time I've ever seen one of those properly. Sorry. This is the problem with you sticking me here. I would have never
We didn't
seen it.
stick you there. You whined.
I didn't whine.
He did whine. There was definite whinage about chairs and the table and wanting a sofa and floating microphones.
Oh, floating microphone.
Yes, floating.
So,
Fantasia. Shit.
so Mao gets a text message from Hina next saying that she's found Yuki in this hotel. Come and help.
You're definitely not accepting that. I'll be like, yeah, she's been caught. Instantly.
Hina's fucked.
She would phone them. Like, every time they've had something to say in this, they've phoned each other.
Yeah, now it's all over text. So the rest of the group, they run to the basement where Yuki is being held. And Akase opens the door and he sees somebody in a chair at the back of the basement. And he turns around to Kozuka and is like,
Hold the
Kozuka,
fucking- hold the door.
Hold the door. Hold the
Hold door.
Hold door.
Hold on. It's one fucking job in this entire thing.
Stay by the door. We'll go and check it out. Goes over. It's a decoy. And just as they're about to turn, Kozuka turns around and goes, hurry up, what's the wait?
Hey guys, what's going on in here? And just go inside the room.
And the door shuts and they get locked inside.
He didn't hold the door.
Cut to Hina. She's all tied up on the floor.
Bow, chicka, bow, wow.
Looks up. Yuki's in a chair just drugged out of his mind.
It's not that bit that gets me. It's the next bit where you see her
In her underwear?
sitting, yeah, in her underwear with two fucking skulls, and I'm like, she has gone off.
You
a
know, is
cliff.
in the throne of power.
What, Game of Thrones style Iron Throne.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
In her underwear. Cut to the room again that the guys are trapped in. It starts getting pumped full of gas. What kind of gas was it again? It was
I thought it was just regular gas.
Just normal gas.
just gas.
Just gas as
Just
gas
gas.
is.
You know, like British gas company calls up. You've got a leak.
No, they don't.
Actually,
leak.
there's no way you're getting any gas in the UK currently. It's really fucking expensive.
And the episode ends with us cutting to Deus, and he's talking to Murmur about who's going to come out on top in this scenario. And Murmur bets
The only one
Yuno
that isn't
will.
tied up in that room.
Well, Murmur bets on Yuno, and Deus is like, no, Yuki will win this. And it ends, and we go into episode 14. It opens with the guys in the room, and filling with gas, just gas. And Akase turns to the group, and he's like, we have exactly 30 minutes until we die.
How does he know this? Like, genuinely, how does
Because
he
he's
know
got
this?
like Sherlock Holmes on that the room is X square feet big. The gas is leaking.
At a rate of.
I can definitely kill at least one of these people and extend the time that I have in
I was
here.
going to say, yes.
No, you just get
What,
higher.
did you see that? Like, did you see how quick he was like?
It wasn't just no yes, it was excitement in his eyes.
No, I'll kill one of these two.
Taking my oxygen, are you?
Just get higher up.
And then I go high. And then I go high.
That's all you got to do. Gas is heavier.
Just breathe
so it'll
less.
Just breathe less.
Do you know what?
I tried that once. It didn't go fucking well.
So
There.
Anybody got a match?
cut to... yeah, it's over quick.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to Yuno in her underwear. She's trying to force feed Yuki, like slamming the spoon against his teeth. And Hina's like, stop fucking doing that.
Anyone like the cock banana?
The cock banana?
Yeah. That she tried to get him to pee in.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
the little
It's
piss
pee
bucket thing.
time. Pulled out a cock banana. It's like, why are you peeing in that? What is
Yeah.
that?
You've been to hospital, right?
Yeah.
Those are the things
The
that
hat.
you... Yeah. No, it's like a...
You always
I
put it-
mean...
yeah, the brown thing you always put on your
Yeah.
head.
No.
It's like a hat. I used to do that as a child.
Oh, really?
I was a very sick child.
I was a bit... Well, yeah.
Not a
Sorry
lot
to
has
bring it
changed.
down, but I was a very
Not a lot
sick
has
child.
See,
Yeah,
I
no,
thought...
no, I'm sick in a different way now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
You enjoyed Lord of the Rings. That is pretty sick.
I never said that. There's only one man over here that's a Tolkien fan.
Fuck it, shit in it.
Let's not go into this. So, turns around to Hina and is like, I'm only doing this because this is the only way that I will get my happy ending with Yuki.
Just get a massage.
How about not drug him?
Yeah, just get a massage.
I don't, like, it was going well.
yeah, it was. I didn't understand this. He was like
The
completely
previous
in.
episode went really well with the whole Kurisu thing that happened, and Yuki was like, let's go on a date, just you and me. Why does she do this?
I don't understand it either because he's like,
Do you
yeah.
think maybe because she's changing things from her world? Mistakes that she made?
No, because
By
later
letting
on
him
down
have
the
that
line,
free
she
will?
turns around and says, I tried to play the game the exact same way, although certain things happened where I couldn't. But she does make a point of saying, I tried to play the game almost exactly the same.
So does that mean she did this in the first world?
No, surely not.
No.
Then it's got to be because she learned from the first one.
Yeah, basically
if-
she couldn't protect him from everyone else, so she thought the only way I can protect him is by locking him up and keeping him...
In an abandoned
maybe not even
building up in
protecting
the
him.
mountains. She
Being
was trying to
persuaded
protect him
by
from the
others.
other diary
Yeah.
users.
Yeah.
But
I mean, she...
I'll protect him by incapacitating him.
To be honest, he needs to be protected from her more than anybody.
He needs protecting from himself, the whiny bitch.
Yeah, he does.
Fucking Kirito looking motherfucker.
He's not Kirito, for a start.
He looks like him, he acts like him, he sounds like him.
Does
There's
he
just
act
a
like
lot
him?
more waterworks.
Who's that?
Does he act like Kirito?
Oh, he fucking does.
He's certainly less heroic.
Yeah. By heroic
Until he
means-
turns all like Dr. Evil right at the end.
The only thing
Yeah, but
missing
I
was
love-
the pinky, right?
I love his Doctor Evil. It's
Like-
great.
Fuck everything and everyone. That is how he becomes.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
I like it.
Jim's a little turned on by it. I like a strong man.
he ain't afraid to do what's right.
Or what's wrong?
What's necessary?
The seriousness. So Akase manages to get in contact with Yuno from her little control room that she's in, and he turns around and goes, I bet you're having tea with some skulls right now, aren't you?
How did he know that?
So he knows that because he knows that there were 3 bodies found in her garden in the pit, and 2 of those bodies had missing heads.
Why
so-
did she not take the full skeleton?
That made
thought-
me guess something though. When I was watching this, and I was watching it with Fran,
When
You
you
knew
found...
who the third one was?
I guessed twin. I wasn't far off.
Oh, is that what you thought?
That
Twin?
was my guess. That was a twin.
And she turns around to Akase and is like, you woke up my parents. It's like, no, you woke them up when you removed the head from their body.
And dug like a 40
No,
foot
it's called
pit.
an eternal slumber.
And
There's no getting out of it.
and Akase turns around and goes, the only thing we don't know, is who's body 3.
Ooze body
Ooh
3.
is body
Ooh
3.
is body 3. That was the most Norfolk you've sounded.
And he tries to bargain with her and he's like, I will tell the police everything about these bodies and the garden and everything like that unless you let Yuki and everyone else go. She doesn't give a shit. She's like, you're stuck in a room full of gas. You're the one in the... You're
But you
not
don't
in a
understand.
position.
I've got 4 bars right now. Was his line. That was his comeback.
He was like,
I've got a good signal.
I
You
will
don't
send this
understand.
message.
But then doesn't she just turn around and be like, oh, you're funny, guys? And,
No, well, she turns the gas up and speeds it up instead.
Right. Just do what they do at all gas mining facilities. You just set it on fire, and it'll burn it as it comes out.
Yeah,
If you did that right at the beginning,
I don't think
you're good
they
in
had
that
a
room.
match.
You're good in that room. What kid doesn't carry around something to start a fire with? Come on. Oh yeah, but you're Captain fucking Goody Two Shoes. Everyone else got into genuine trouble. You started little fires and fucking shit like that. You just did.
Used to in science, didn't you? Used to put a piece of paper over the Bunsen
Yeah, in
burner.
science,
Exactly.
in a place which was due to be exploded.
There was safety involved in Jim's world.
Not in my
A
in
Bunsen
my
burner,
school.
you say? What can I burn? I'll melt my pens.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what you did. You fucked around with fire. What kid isn't doing that? You didn't carry around lighters and matches and stuff.
Here at the Summoning Boys, we like to preach safety at all times. Don't burn your stuff. Ever.
Unless it's really fun.
Don't listen to him.
So, this is the moment when Kozuka receives an apprentice diary. Yeah.
Why? Like, this was already convoluted enough for me.
Yeah.
Why
so
did they do this?
He gets a gift of a diary, but it's not like a real. He's not a contender in the game. He's like a helper,
Yeah.
an apprentice.
This is where I pulled out.
Yeah. So
It's a bit early for you.
so he helps them. He helps them escape. He escapes through event. They help him escape through event.
The fucking lass after him needs to fucking do some upper body work.
Oh, I know, Mal. Yeah, I know.
Or stop standing on her knees on his shoulders and fucking stand up.
Yeah. So Kozuka manages to make his way to Yuno. He gets there. Yuno has no idea who he is.
I mean, very few people in this room
So
probably do know
her
who he is.
Her selective
Who are you?
memory.
I've been with you for 2 weeks. No, don't know you.
This is when Yuki, for some reason, seeing Kozuka gives Yuki a little bit of clarity from his drug-fueled dream.
It's
And
that prick I know from school. I see it. Literally.
he gets the flashback and he's like, she drugged my drink. So Yuno then gives Kozuka like an ultimatum. She holds up 2 keys and she's like, this is the console key to save your friends and this is the key to Yuki's chains. Pick which one you want. I don't know why she did this, by the way. It's just pointless.
Yeah.
She wanted the bag.
She's like, no, she turns around to Kozuka. She's like, let me just take my parents and go. The skulls that are in the chairs. She throws Kozuka the key to the console. He puts it in, turns off the gas, frees Akase and Mao, and then takes a crossbow to the leg.
Took an arrow to the knee.
He is not an adventurer anymore.
He was never an adventurer, that guy. Also, gun. Why the hell has she not got a gun?
Because she's like 15?
Because crossbows are cool.
She got a gun from the police station. She already had one.
She didn't... If she wanted to kill him, she could have killed him then.
And she
there,
should have
right?
killed him.
Fuck Kozuka.
No. Looking from her point of view, bang.
Looking from our point of view, bang.
Yeah, he's a fucking
Fuck
annoying,
me.
isn't he?
Oh, we got rid of that character.
The camera spins. We see that Yuki is not there anymore. He's not in the chair anymore. He is right beside Yuno. He slaps her.
Because
Because
sometimes...
Sometimes.
you just gotta slap a bitch. A guy. Anyone.
Nice save.
Well recovered,
Nice
Jamie.
save.
Equality.
Yeah, nice save. These fists are bisexual.
They're there. And he takes the crossbow from Yuno. He turns around. He's like, come on, guys. Let's leave. And they turn and all walk out.
Come on, guys.
You
Let's
just
go
shot
home.
me. I'm going to shun you.
Yeah,
You
basically.
wait.
Yuno goes after him and he turns around and he's like, screw you, Yuno.
No. I shunned. Did you not hear?
Silent treatment.
I spit in your general direction.
Cut to the foster home. And we see the matron of the
I
foster home.
fucking hated this.
What?
I hate this
What
entire
was
thing.
going on with the character design?
For mother.
What? For the walking baby?
What was
That
that?
baby can walk. What was going on with it? Why is she so large
T-posing?
but not?
Constantly?
Constant. It's like playing CSGO when it's broken. It just fucking breaks all
We
the
see
time.
that the matron has sent out 3 of her diary apprentice users to go after Yuki.
So, this is where they define what the extra diaries are for. Why did Kozuka get the extra diary?
I don't know. You're supposed to be gifted them, aren't you?
well, his
I think
mother got
Don't-
them because that was her actual diary.
Don't forget Deus was siding with Yuki.
Yeah,
So
I think Deus gave the diaries to him.
because he's already sus of Murmur. So he sent Kozuka that diary.
I think he did.
Is what he's done.
And then he was like, well, everybody can do it now.
As the group leave in the car, they slow-mo past the sports car
The
that
cool
has...
kids
yes.
on
that
their
has-
way to an American high school to watch the game.
Hey, Johnny, get in!
We're all in that car, right?
We'll go together.
None of us are in that fucking car. What are you talking
We're
about?
all in that car,
Still in
right?
the chair out my mind. Little drunk.
That's true. No, keep it going. Keep it going.
Get the piss bucket.
The dick banana.
Does make life easier, to be fair.
What, a piss banana?
No.
Oh. What does? Being drugged?
Yeah, just cared for.
Just cared for. Oh, I thought you meant like recreationally. I was like, it really doesn't in the long run, mate.
So the episode ends with Yuno making her way out of the hotel as well, and she says to herself, they're going to be coming for you soon, Yuki. You're going to need me whether you want it or not.
I'd rather or not, to be honest.
I don't know, you want that killer machine by your side?
No.
I've said it once, I'll say it again.
No. I've got the...
Not if it's drugging me and kidnapping me. That's a bit
I've got the amazing
That's a bit
Kozuka with his
much.
King Diary. I don't
I've
need
got
anyone
Kozuka
else. No.
And we go into episode 15. Episode 15 opens with Yuki. He's in his bed, and he's talking to Deus about this whole like diary keepers thing, and you get a bit of clarity that basically any of the main diary users can create secondary diary users to support them in the game. Why doesn't at this point Yuki make diaries for all his friends?
I thought that. Like, give Akase one.
I know he does it later. Well, Matron does it later for them, but is Yuki not capable of doing it?
Because I told you, it
Does
breaks
he know
it.
how to do it?
It breaks it. Like, it breaks the game. If everybody can get a diary, then everyone can have a new one.
Yeah, but then why is it a thing?
Surely that would be the best thing to do, though.
Yeah, you
Just
you
create
make sure your friends.
Tons of diaries for loads of people.
Well,
and
we
gotta go
see,
through all of them.
we see
Well-
eventually with 11th.
Maya does that later on, doesn't he? But
And it would have worked if it weren't for those pesky kids.
For those meddling kids.
so Yuki turns around to Kozuka and he's like, "Can I see your new diary?" I think he calls it the King Diary.
The
Doesn't
King
he?
Diary.
He picks it up, throws it on the floor, smashes it, and Kozuka's like, "You've just killed me, man." He doesn't die. So basically, you break one of
To our
these.
disappointment.
You break one of these diaries, nothing happens. And Eighth, or Matron, is just processing. She's given all the foster kids in this care home diaries.
And we get a rundown on basically what Wi-Fi and a router means at this point.
Yeah, and Yuki looks at his phone. You know when we talk about Yuki and how far ahead he can see and this, that, and the other? Well,
Yeah.
at this point, he looks at his phone and he's like, 3 days from now, I'm going to be kidnapped.
I thought he had a day.
No, 3.
It's always been a day. You
It was
always
a day.
think The next day.
It was a day.
Yeah, so he's turned around and gone, 3 days from now, I'm going to be kidnapped.
Is that because he can see the ending?
I mean,
Aha!
yeah. Yeah. They start convoluting it. Like I've just said, with the phones and giving them to extra people, they start convoluting
Yes.
the whole story.
They really do. So Yuki's group all turn around and are like, Yuki, we're in this with you. We'll help you get through this. And they get this whole like friendship moment.
Yeah, fuck the woman that shot at us and the one that drugged you.
Yeah, and
killed other
Akase's
people.
like-
We're in here, bud.
Akase's like, don't forget, you know she's not gone. She's gonna come back. Look out for Yuno.
See her in the bushes outside looking out.
Hello, my love.
That sounds like the start of a punchline every time I hear her name. Look out for Yuno. You know who.
Yuki goes downstairs.
The one who cannot be named. She should not be named.
Yuki goes downstairs later that day. Mum's in the kitchen. All the food out on the counter. Yes, the mum's back. And he's like, "Oh, Mum, you had time to cook. The food's really good."
You've
And she's
recovered
like-
from your head injury.
And she's like, "Oh no, I didn't make this. Yuno was here earlier, and she made you dinner."
You know who? Exactly.
Dun, dun, dun.
You made me laugh.
Just you could just see through the window,
We
just looking
then,
in.
We should, every time there's lunch, we should edit Jim in the background, just peeking in from somewhere. Just nose against the restaurant window, peeking into people's kitchens. You made me lunch. That's a big bag.
What's the name of the? It's the old movie where he smashes through the door with the axe.
You mean The Shining?
The
Shining,
Shining.
that's
You
the
couldn't
one.
remember the name of the Shining. Here's Johnny.
Yeah.
You made me laugh.
You Get on it, Twitter.
If not, Grayson has plenty of time. He'll be on it soon.
No, I spend all my free time masturbating. Over your dad!
Like, I should just pause. Like, I now have the free reign to just press this button anytime.
So we cut to the group heading to Kozuka's house. Turns out the guy is filthy rich. He's got a humongous estate and a large mansion.
I'm not rich. My parents are.
Yeah, basically, that is what he says. It's not mine, it's my parents' money.
All right, Trump.
Fair
Literally,
Hey,
it's not
fair
mine.
play to him. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, this isn't mine. No rich kid does that. Every rich kid's like, this is all mine, or it will be.
Once I have killed my parents.
And Akase has devised a trap for these people that are coming after him.
Talking of, where are his parents?
Yeah, that is a question that comes up later as well. Cause
Their house gets burned down.
yeah,
Like, genuinely, if I was like, I'm just having my mates over and then my house gets burnt down the next day.
that's a good pie.
I was going to say, Dad walks in. Good time, son. Nice party. Worth it, was it?
Insane.
Got a bit out of control, but
Arrow to the knee.
Good time, sir. Oh,
So Akase's plan is, for some reason, Kozuka's estate has a phone tower.
yep.
So he's
he must
going,
be part of TNT.
He's going,
TNT.
so they're going to fire
AT&T.
TNT.
I mean,
It's part of dynamite.
might as well be TNT because everything blows up.
And they've realised that real diary users' phones aren't affected by phone towers, but the subsidiary ones are. I don't know when they work this out. And the idea is set off a small EMP that knocks out the phone tower on the estate so that the ones coming after them will lose their ability to use their diaries. Is everyone with me?
How long has Akase had on this plan?
He's a genius.
Genius, and then there's just somebody who's got foreshadowing for the
So
future.
when the time comes for them to set the trap off, it doesn't go off. Because the power to the house, to the switch that they were going to use, has been cut. Not cut by who you think it's been cut by. You know, cut it. She turns up and she's like, you don't need Akase to save you. I'll save you, Yuki.
Sneaks out like the
They
kid,
could have
by
just
the way.
Captain Planet the shit. And with their powers combined.
Yeah. Well, they did for a long
It's a
time until
sure
she
win.
kidnapped him. So she willingly then goes upstairs because Yuki's like, come upstairs, and protect me. She gets upstairs. He ties her hands together.
Why are my hands tied, love?
Because you're a murderous, evil woman. That's why.
They hear some noise, commotion in the house. They run downstairs. Nishijima comes flying through the door. He's been smashed through the door. And we get our introduction to Marco and I. Two of the best characters.
Easily.
Apart from two of the best characters
I
in
really
this.
didn't get this
Ah,
obsession you two have got.
Yuno
do you
is
mean you two?
the best character.
Nah.
I'm indifferent to
I really like 4.
But
Why? He has like
what,
a
Kurisu?
3-episode arc.
He's cool.
Minane's okay as well.
Yeah, I mean, that is cool.
But she comes into her own later on. So Marco and I. Marco has what he calls the undefeated champ diary.
I fucking love this diary. It is literally just, he's going to hit you on the face.
Yes. He just knows when an attack is coming. But it's more than just that because his diary also looks out for I.
I thought one looked after the other.
No.
It's cool, right?
No. That's his subsidiary diary. So his fake diary, spoilers, is the undefeated champ diary where he can see attacks because I has a fake diary where she can see and she gets updates on all the guys she's going to flirt with. Okay? With me? Yes, that's why she knows about Yuki because she's planned to flirt with Yuki, therefore her diary is giving her updates on what Yuki is doing.
This
Alright.
sounds like your diary, Shaney.
They end up chasing...
Didn't even deny it.
chasing
Didn't even deny that.
Give it away secret.
they
He's a nice
chase They chase Yuki and Yuno up to that hatch area in the roof.
Is this before or after the church fight?
Church fight?
No, we're not at the church fight
God,
yet.
that's in Tokyo Tower. That's later.
Okay.
So,
We got ninja throwing stars first.
yes, we have. So, eventually, they burst into the attic to attack Yuno and Yuki. And finally, they set off the EMP that takes down the cell phone tower. And Marco and I are like, our diaries are useless now. Oh, wait a minute. We have other diaries. They pull out the real diaries.
Here's one I made earlier.
They are actually both seventh.
7th and 8th?
No,
I thought?
seventh.
Oh, just
They're
7th,
both
yeah.
seventh. And he also turns into Space Dandy at this point.
He does!
Quaffs his hair out.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Turns out that they are actually real so they're not. They worked with Matron. They were orphans. Matron took them in. Basically, yeah, Matron is connected to them and whatnot. It's a little convoluted.
I mean, how was that going to work in the end?
One's got to kill the other.
Yeah.
Yes, but I guess.
But
they
Matron's
might have-
actually a nice character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
if
she was
she didn't want
sacrificed
to-
and
I think that's
go
the
rule.
point. Yeah. Yuki has no choice but to cut Yuno free from the restraints because he's like, if I don't cut her free, she can't defend me and I'm going to die.
This guy gets worse and worse as we go on, by the way. He's like, the only reason I'm going to let you go is so you can save me.
Yes,
He gets really
Why hasn't
like...
he tapped it by now?
What? Because he's a wimp. He is. Every time there's been a moment of
I'm
that,
just
he
saying.
gets shy, blushes, and turns away.
Well, it happens
She
eventually,
does-
so, you know.
This guy could last 30 fucking seconds, and she's like, that was wonderful, darling.
I mean, he's not wrong. So, I throws throwing knives at Yuki.
The power of his
Anyone-
suggestions, like,
I
helps her.
genuinely half expected darts to come flying over Yuki's shoulder. But we don't see them anymore.
They do
Throw
not,
them back.
No, I don't think they make an
Until
appearance
maybe
anymore.
one of the last few episodes when they mention a dartboard and there's a dart in it.
Yes, that's it.
I thought they were going to be a big part of his like
No,
identity.
no,
It's
they
like,
were plot devices for the first half.
there's
That's
a dart here. He was here.
Fucking calling card.
Yeah. Why not?
So
The bullseye killer.
Yuno manages. Yuno manages to deflect the throwing knives with her knife skills.
Mind powers.
Yuki praises her, and that spurs her on even further. And all she's focused on is his praise.
The power of your praise helps me.
How did no one slip over in this fight? That was a wet joke, Jim.
I
See what
got
did
it.
there?
I got it.
I
Like,
don't think you've ever got wet.
that's a damning indictment. Isn't it?
Marco and I end up running away because she runs out of throwing knives. We see Hinata and Mao as well. They're helped by Marco and I out of the house because the house is...
Because they're not bad people.
Yes, so Marco and I actually save Hinata and Mao. The house goes up in a blaze. Marco and I then turn around and walk back in and are like, you haven't actually got rid of us yet. You think you could get rid of us that easily? They walk back into the burning building.
Wait until they come outside.
Yeah.
Like, why have a fight inside the burning building? Just wait until they come
But
outside.
they have the power of true love.
So Team
Great.
Rocket can blast off again. That's why.
They kind of do remind me of
Right? The roles are just reversed.
that. Jesse, James. Actually, Jesse and James will work more in this.
Jesse would get a dick though, right?
This guy. This guy.
Don't tell me you wouldn't.
This guy.
You exclusively masturbate to cartoons.
He's getting cut.
Don't
Like, he's getting cut. Like, not even like...
Trade
some of it.
secrets.
Like, don't have a peek behind the curtain.
Yuno and I end up going head to head inside the burning building. Yuno's just about to take I out when Marco blocks the knife attack and takes the knife to the arm, I believe. Sprinkler system goes off. He takes Yuno down and Marco turns on Yuki and is like, why didn't you help her? Why didn't you protect her like I protected I?
She drugged me like 4 days ago. Like, she was
I'm
genuinely...
not in love. This is Stockholm
He,
syndrome.
he literally, he fucking slams Yuki for using Yuno.
You don't know, man. You weren't there. You don't know
To be
what's been
fair,
going
neither
on.
was he.
Yeah, that's to be
He
fair.
was
Yeah.
fucking gone.
He picks up Yuki and throws him off the banister of the staircase.
That's hurting a bit more than what happened.
Now,
right?
the episode ends with Yuki and Yuno in hospital. Turns out that Marco and I stole their diaries and are holding them hostage
Why?
This is where you
because
just enter the game.
they're using their diaries because they're getting their updates. So they think that that's an advantage to them
All right,
to keep.
they're
hold of
getting
them.
an update about the 2 people they should have just killed.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
Like, they would have just off them right there.
We know where they are now.
I don't know.
Great. You knew where they
Maybe
were when you had a
Marco
chance
and
to
I aren't
stab
as
him
bad
and
as you
stab
think
him.
they
No, it doesn't make any sense. Like, literally, just break the phones.
Yeah.
So the episode ends with the hospital door opening and Mina Nay is standing there in a nurse's outfit. And we go into episode 16.
No, you had my attention. Go on.
It's the first time in this full episode that you've had his attention.
Episode 16 opens with us meeting for the first time Yuki's dad.
Oh, he's such a prick. Like, even from the start.
He is an asshole.
We cut to, he's turned up at the hospital. We cut to Yuki inside. He's being trained by Minane. So while Minane is straddling Yuki,
Go on.
his dad walks in
Go on.
and he's like, excuse me, son. Can
I
you
seem to be stuck in a tumble dryer.
can you share the nurse with me?
I got stuck putting the sheets back.
And he turns around to Minane and he says, and I quote, "Straddle me like the jockey does a thoroughbred." And his dad is all over Minane, trying to rub himself up against her.
This takes the meaning of give a one for me, son, to a whole new level.
And he turns to Yuki and he's like, "Yuki, I want to help you." And Yuki's like, "Go back to mum. That would be helpful. If you two got back together again, it would make life a lot better."
Doesn't really solve the problem, though. They've all got
And
to
Dad's
die.
like, "Yeah." Dad's like, "No, I want to help you train." His dad doesn't know what for. He's just like, "I'll help you train with Minane."
We'll run for 10 minutes, and then I'll be an asshole. That's my father dutifully. It's done.
What's
We're
his
done.
dad doing? Like, well, we find out what he's doing, but we cut to Marco and I. There's a moment in their little bit where I get super jealous because she thinks that Marco is messaging a girl. Turns out she had
Her phone?
Yuki's phone.
Yeah.
Oh no, her phone.
Her
yeah.
phone.
Yeah. For some reason, she thought she had his phone, but she didn't. She had her phone, and she spoiled the surprise that he was going to buy her a ring. I like these two. Like, I like Marco and I. Their story's good.
Yeah.
We then cut to Yuki and his dad, and they're doing exercise. So first of all, they do pull-ups. His dad, who calls himself Pull-Up Paul,
I do enjoy
That's
this.
not as good as you think it sounds.
loses, but Minane says that he was so fast at the pull-ups that Yuki just didn't see them. Then they go on to the iron grip test to test, and he calls himself Iron Grip Gary.
Again, not as good as you think it sounds.
The whole thing is, as Minane says,
The best hand job ever.
is about is about Yuki spending time with his dad. It's not about the fact that his dad's cheating and winning. It's about the experience that they're having together. And Yuno is watching from the bushes with a knife in her hand.
She's always there. She's always watching. Like,
Yuno's just you.
she's just Homer Simpson in the Simpson.
Oh, he's
Homer
back!
Simpson.
James is back!
Here we go.
The speech impediment's back. We get to the final. we get to the,
Homer Simpson in the bushes.
There you go. Nailed it.
we get to the
First
final.
First try.
We get to the final exercise, which is a race up the hill, and his dad takes off. And as they're running, his dad talks about the fact that the reason he can't go back to his mum is because he's a gambler, and he racked up such a huge amount of debt that he got in trouble with some bad people. And he thought the best thing to do was to leave the family so that they weren't involved. Fair.
3 million as well.
Yes.
3 million in the hole.
And then he runs off. He races ahead. Yuki gets to a point where he thinks he's like, where's Dad? I can't find him. And his dad's left a note on the bench. He's vanished.
After the big long speech by the moped.
Yes. Is that Mina on the moped?
Yeah.
Yeah, she gives him a speech about his dad and how he's not such a bad guy. And
Give him a chance. Gone.
And then he does like the rat race thing where he comes and turns up in a blooming taxi back at the hospital.
So the reason that I and Marco are saving Yuki and Yuno's phone is because Yuki and Yuno are purposely making them think that they're getting good information from the phone messages. You with me?
No.
So the reason he's doing this training montage is because then his diary will update saying that he's training for something, which will make Marco and I think that his diary's still useful.
But they would have never had to have worried about that if they'd have just gone.
Yeah, they're
In the
keeping
first
the diaries
place.
of people they want to kill when they could have killed them.
Yeah, it's
Because they've got their diaries.
And I have a bigger question. He's now looking for his diary. Which one of those alive wants that diary? His dad's looking for his diary, right?
yes.
Who wants that diary? Who do we find out eventually wants that diary?
I don't think you get told.
No, you don't, do you? So who the hell is
Because
it?
it's supposed to be someone that's paying off his debt.
Yes.
To wipe the
Somebody
slate clean.
contacted his dad. Yeah.
Who?
Who?
Well, before we get there, Yuki's dad went into Yuki's house. and
Homer
is-
Simpson in the bushes
and
again.
is ransacking his house, and Yuno overhears him on the phone.
I thought it was a hospital room, and that where he was staying. He's looking for it in there, isn't
It
he?
might be the hospital
Yeah.
room. And the person on the phone tells Yuki's dad, I'll wipe all your debts if you break Yuki's phone. So to the dad, he doesn't know what that means. All he knows is, I break a kid's phone and my debt's
I'll
gone.
buy you another one.
Yeah. Little does he know that kills him.
A better one.
And Yuki walks in and catches Yuno trying to kill his dad. And she's like, no, he's working with 11th, is what she says.
So the mayor.
So, yeah, it would seem that it's the mayor.
Good old government funding.
This never comes to fruition, though. Like, none of this
No.
comes into light later on. If it wasn't for that one tiny piece of information, that never comes into
It
it.
does
very-
make this
it's very
whole
odd.
bit kind of redundant, though. You don't need this entire thing with his dad, do you?
No.
Apart from the fact that he's supposed to be close to his dad, but he could, even without this, the relationship remains probably better.
They could have brought him in as a better plot device than they did.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
he is
Just make
there
his
for
dad
one reason and
disappear.
one reason only. To off his mum.
No, that's not the end goal, is it? Like, because he
No, the
forgives-
plot, though, that's where
Later
it
on, he
needs it.
forgives his dad, by the way, but for killing his mum. But
Yeah,
we'll-
after bandaging him up, yeah.
yeah,
Because he bought him a telescope.
yeah.
That's all it takes. Good old telescope.
So anyway, we'll get
He
to
can
that.
see the future.
Yuno gets a phone call from Marco telling her to leave Yuki's dad alone. So they must be in on this as well. And then he says, come to Sakurami Tower. Not Tokyo Tower, Sakurami Tower, sorry. Yuno, Yuki's dad, they all end up going to Sakurami Tower. Marco and I are there. They're in wedding gear. They've just got married.
Congratulations.
And Marco challenges Yuki to a one-on-one fight.
Mortal Kombat.
While he's doing this, Yuno turns around and looks at Ai and is taking her time looking at the flowers that Ai is holding in her hands.
That's what we all do when we're at weddings.
Yuki's dad runs over to the table that Yuki's phone's on, picks it up, snaps it. And Yuki's like, Dad, no, why?
No.
My boy!
My boy!
Father, help.
What the hell?
Fuck's sake.
Yuki doesn't die though, because it turns out that Marco and I had created decoy phones.
And it'd be a pretty shit show if you did.
So he basically and his dad's like, "What are you worried about, Yuki? It's just a phone. I'll buy you a new one once the debt's gone. I need this." Yuno runs over, grabs the flowers from Ai. Turns out the phones are inside, and she actually says that she knew the decoy phones weren't the real ones because the real ones had scuffs on them. And she even says, like, if you'd have imitated the scuffs, then I would have probably
How
not
good
seen
is this
it.
bitch's eyesight?
Well,
Fuck, that's across the
she
room.
does stare at Yuki from a long way away and knows exactly what he's up to.
I think that's absolute bullshit. She's looking
Yeah.
at those flowers going, if I get those flowers, he has to marry me.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
That's all I was
Also,
thinking.
why aren't you putting the phone down her bra like a normal girl does? They're out of the way, they're safe, they're not going to bounce anywhere in a fight.
That's a lot of phones. Just to have all of those
Have
phones.
you not
in
been
that
on
bra.
TikTok recently? There are girls that pull like vodka bottles out of there and fucking everything.
Right. Yeah.
I have seen those, but like,
Then the tower blows up and begins to come down.
apparently it was due for demolition anyway, like in 3 weeks.
Was it?
Apparently so,
Oh. I don't remember that.
which I thought was confusing. Like, there's a whole message that comes up, and they're like, it's due to be destroyed in like 3 days before they go into Sakurami Tower.
Oh.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah. So the floor gives way under Yuki, and as he plummets to his death, Yuno and his dad run over to him, and the episode ends with them both reaching out to him, and it's like,
Oh, which one's he gonna take?
whose hand is he going to take?
This is something you do with dogs to find out who's the favourite owner. Not children.
Always have a treat in your hand when.
And we open with episode 17. Episode 17 opens with Sakurami Tower exploding more. Then it jumps back in time. 14 years. What?
Oh, just this show, man.
It jumps back in time
This
14 years, and we see Ai as a child. And she was abandoned by her mother at the Sakurami Tower. And Marco found her and saved her. And obviously took her with him to the orphanage. And you see that Marco always looked out for her. She followed him around like a lost puppy, really. But he liked it. He didn't care. And he always looked out for her. And we see that she made a diary about Marco, and hence her diary. So some people, their diaries did actually correspond with what they used to do.
I thought it corresponded with everybody pretty much.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed. That was the point of the diaries, is they were their
possibly, yeah.
personality, what they use diaries for.
Although that also doesn't make sense later on when you realise who made the diaries. Because Deus didn't make the diaries.
No,
He doesn't.
yes
They
and no.
literally,
No, because the mayor makes the game, but not really.
He made the diaries. He has
No,
all
he
the
doesn't,
phones on the
No,
table.
no, he.
Because they're not all phones, though, are they? There's a fucking scroll.
Yeah,
You didn't see a scroll on the table, did you?
That'd be
Isn't
better.
he just making the fake diaries so that everyone can have them?
I don't
No,
know.
because-
He's making the game. He's setting up the game.
Because
later
you see on
but
his desk all the phones.
We're jumping ahead. Let's not
All
jump
right,
too far
sorry.
ahead. For fuck's sake, Jim.
Sorry. All right.
We also see that Ai is bullied a lot by all the other girls in the school because she cares for nothing other than Marco. She spends all her day updating her Marco diary, and she's a bit obsessive compulsive, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Surely
Until-
she'd have the nickname Polo, right?
So, so the girls in her class
Come
decide.
on, it was right there. Someone had
You
to
swung
say
for it.
it. Someone's got to go.
The
for those
girls in
little
her
bumps.
class decide it'll be a fun idea to get back at Ai by having guys from another school rape her. So she gets a message from supposedly Marco to go to this abandoned warehouse.
Lo and behold, it's just a guy.
She texts
Tickets
Marco
in
when
her
she
hand.
gets there with tickets in the hand. She gets to the warehouse. She texts Marco saying, "I'm at the warehouse. Where are you?"
Surely she would have put something earlier. Why are we going to
I
a
was gonna
warehouse?
say, why are you going to an abandoned
They live
warehouse?
together.
Yeah.
They live in the same building.
Yeah. So all these other guys turn up. You see them about to rape her. Then you see Marco arrive, and he
Fisticuffs.
goes ape shit,
He gets his
and
fisticuffs.
he kills at least one of them.
Yeah.
He does like a full Joey Wheeler sequence where he's like punching the shit out of everybody. You remember the bit from Yu-Gi-Oh where
Yeah.
they're like back to back and they're punching each other. Yeah.
And you're kind of not sure at this point if he got there in time or not.
I don't think he did.
No, so
That
then
was a whole thing
it
afterwards.
cuts to the rooftop, and Marco he turns to her and he's like, "I'm so sorry. I can't take back what they did to you. I should have stopped them. I should have been there."
Bunch of guys around this table. If a girl asks you, "Do you want to come rape someone?" I've got it set up for you.
I don't think that was the
What's
girl's
the,
intention. I think they wanted those guys to just like scare her and beat her up. I don't know necessarily. If they
Same
knew...
question with that context in it. Are you going to go beat up a girl because some girl told you to?
No, but
Nope. No. What's wrong with these types of people?
What is wrong with this entire blooming setting of this world?
It is fucking bizarre. That's not a thing. Like, I understand that the whole horribleness of gang raping happens, but it's not because some girl organised it.
no.
And it's happened twice, by the
that's
way,
called a
in this
gangbang.
entire thing.
These lads that they got to do it are obviously fucking twisted from the start. But there's a lot of them, and they're school kids.
There's fucking
They're all in
tons of
high
them.
school.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty certain at one point they all say, in that sequence, they're like, we're too young for anybody to do anything.
They
against
say
us.
she's an orphan. Who's going to believe an orphan?
And also, we're all still school age, so what are they going to do to us? I'm
Yeah.
like,
Kill you? Murder you? That's what I would fucking do to you. What lad is going to fucking join in on this?
nope.
This is not a
It's
high
not
school
like you get a
party.
fucking poster at school. Come to my rape party.
Just on a lamppost, pull a ticket.
Like, just,
Is what that
you know,
what's,
you don't
those
open up an
things on?
envelope and confetti comes out and it's like, rape
Invitation.
party!
Congratulations, you've been selected. Just the postman handing them out. It's just junk mail.
I knew he was in on it the entire time.
I'm here for the party, guys.
Like we've already said, if it was a parcel force postman,
Well, then nobody's getting the
nobody's
invite.
ever getting an invite.
To be fair, all they hand out is tickets, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good point. You weren't in, but we dropped it round the back.
I'm leaving that one alone.
Leave it.
Yeah, so, look, it's weird, right? this
can't-
whole gang rape
Does this
thing
actually
is...
happen?
I can't.
I've never heard of it.
I'm
assuming
sure this
there's
isn't
going
the
to be.
first anime we've seen where somebody's gone to a warehouse and been nearly raped. Or
Well,
attacked,
no, we watched
or...
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, they got attacked in the
That was
warehouse.
attacked. in
There
a
was a
warehouse.
sofa there, though.
How many
And a camera opposite with a guy doing an
casting
interview.
couch?
Oh, you knew that one. Just
Yeah.
not the man with the bear outfit.
No.
No, of course not. Of course not. He still feels safe getting into taxis.
What's that? You can't afford to pay? Anyway, on the rooftop, Marco is so upset with what has happened. He tries to off himself. And I stops him and is like, you think that is going to help? You'd only make my pain 10 times worse if you were to leave me as well. And she won't let him. It's a really nice moment, right? I like this. I mean, it's a fucking
In a
rum old
horrible,
scene.
it's
In
a horrible
scene.
situation, and the ending is actually
They go out of their
Alright.
way to create a solid-ish backstory for these two characters,
and it's one of the only times they actually do.
yeah, and you feel empathy for these characters. It's difficult. Why did they do this with these two? They almost make Yuki and Yuno out to be the bad guys.
They are the bad
They are the
guys.
bad
What are you
guys.
talking about?
They're never good guys in
No,
this entire thing.
not once are they the good people.
Yuki is a hero.
No.
No, Yuki's not.
He's
the
a hero.
He's not a fucking hero.
He's part of the fucking postman team.
He's not a hero. We jump back in time. We jump forward again to the moment when Yuki falls. Turns out that he grabbed Yuno's hand, and his dad's about to fall down, and Marco grabs Yuki's dad and saves him. Marco and I then stand up, and they're like, put on their parachutes, and are like, "Let's get out of here."
Why did they save his dad?
Yeah, to then only leave him in a building that's going to fall anyway. I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to kill people at their own hands.
Maybe they wanted it to be a surprise.
The only problem I have with their whole thing is you've given them a backstory, but you haven't given them the motivation to become
Gods.
gods.
True. But they do,
Like, you
they do
actually-
say they
Maybe
do say
that's the point.
they do say a couple of times, "Let's be gods together." They do make that
So
quote.
who has motivation to be God?
We all would, given the chance.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a reason for anyone to be entered then, really.
So they do want to win, but maybe they're just not about to go full psycho to do so.
But we've already seen that you have to, pretty much, to win this game.
Yeah, it's a killing game.
You have to kill to win.
It's a killing. Well, I guess in a way you can get others to do it.
I'm pretty certain old age is not going to count.
No, Deus hasn't got that long.
Yeah, exactly.
So Yuki gets told by Yuno that in order to beat these two, we have to do what they do and we have to fucking fight together. I need you to help me.
Captain Planet style. With our powers combined,
And
making a joke I made
you,
30 minutes ago.
yeah.
bringing back the hits.
The hits.
Yuno finally confronts Marco and and Yuki's not there. And they're like, where's Yuki? I thought you were going to fight us together. And Yuki comes over the comm system and is like, yeah, I'm checking out. I'm not brave enough to fight, which pisses Marco off again. And he goes after Yuno, and he does get the better of her. And then he goes after Yuki, and he's like, Yuki's in the comms room. I'll go and sort him out next, now that I've defeated Yuno. Goes after Yuki. Turns out it was all a ploy, and Yuki's not in the comms room. Gets his darts out.
Hey.
Throws it at Ai's phone. Misses. For the first time.
Well, that's why he stopped using darts then, isn't it? His powers have gone.
But it's okay, because Yuno cuts Ai's throat. Disapproving shake of the head from Jim. And Yuki runs over and is like, why did you do that?
It says they're bad guys, because they are bad
They are
guys.
the bad guys.
You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
We just wanted to destroy her phone, which would have killed her anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, but she would have become like the whirlpool
Yes.
toilet thing. It was just,
I imagine that's a lot less painful than having your throat slit.
I don't know.
Yes, I would have thought. Well, you'd think
Being
so.
taken out of existence.
And Yuno's like, grab the parachute, Yuki, and let's get out of here. Yuki's dad runs over, grabs the parachute, and goes, I need this more.
Yoink!
He jumps, opens. He knows exactly what he's doing with this parachute, by the way. Opens the parachute, glides down. Yuki's mum happens to be there.
At the police cordon. Why? Is
Yes.
there a reason why she's there? Has she been called?
And she spots his dad in the air as he lands. Runs over. He's got a knife in his hand. We don't find out what happens just yet, because we cut back to Ai, who's in the wreckage of the tower at the minute, and she's still alive. Even though her throat's been cut, she is buried under the rubble with Yuki and Yuno.
Can still talk.
Yuno is like...
That's a good point.
Sort of.
No, she can talk.
She's talking.
Yeah, Yuno is then like, I know how we can get Marco to come down here with his parachute. Let's flay her skin.
She's not a good person. They're not good people.
Let's flay her skin from her bones, and that'll bring the cries that she will make Marco want to come and save her.
She's
There
one
are
of the
better ways
She
to
is
make
one
it
of the
work.
fucking Boltons from fucking Game of Thrones.
I is like, it's too late, Marco's gone. He hasn't gone. Marco's there, and he's trying to dig Ai out.
This is
He's
how you know
living
they're
the
good
dandy
people.
way.
Yeah.
He's living the dandy
He-
way
He
here.
even
taking
gives
that down
Yuki
to
a
the
pep
heart.
talk and is like, shut the fuck up, help me dig all of you out. And
He's the good guy.
yeah, he lifts the rock, and then you see that he's got a massive metal rod sticking out of his abdomen, and he's like, I got as well. This is why
I'm going to die anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I'm going to die as well. So, and they end up helping Marco get Ai out, and
because it actually
she,
benefits
she
them.
dies before he can do anything. Like
And they die happily ever after.
yeah,
They really do. Actually, I kind of like.
It's a nice
this.
ending to them
it's
two.
a beautiful ending, and he gives them his
They
parachute.
didn't live long enough to see themselves become the
Yeah.
villain.
They're still the good guys. It's bitter, but there's a bit of sweetness with it.
Yeah.
Just
It's-
because of who they are.
They go out in a fucking blaze of glory. These two.
I'd
but-
watch a show with just them two.
Yeah,
That's
Like-
what I'm
like
on
a
about.
side
With
show.
like, Yuki is literally living this, isn't he? You
Yeah.
live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
yes.
He always was
this.
a villain. The moment he started using fucking Yuno to be
He
fucking his
wanted to
bodyguard.
survive.
Yeah.
There's a difference between going out of your way to win the game and kill people
He never
and
win-
just keep yourself
He
alive.
never wanted to win the game.
He never went out of his way to go and kill people. People fucking came to him.
Yeah,
they
this is
came
true.
after him. So the episode ends with them landing, and Nishijima runs over and he's like,
Don't look, kid, even though you can see everything going on behind me anyway.
"It's your mum. She's dead."
Sorry, Harry. She did.
And we go into episode 18. Episode 18 takes us back a year again, so we're doing a bit of a time jump again. And we see Yuno when she is stalking Yuki. And we see her see that he has a love letter in his hand at one point. He drops it on the floor and she's like, was
this
that a
is
love
the
letter?
Bunny episode.
Yes.
I like this episode. It's just funny.
We also see that Yuno is extremely popular with all the guys. We established this in episode 1, I think. Super popular with all the guys. She's got great grades. She's really pretty. And she's been following Yuki for a week now. She thinks that he's going to give a Valentine, or the letter, to Wakaba, another girl in his class.
Which he is.
Which he is, yeah. He likes Wakaba. What a name.
Yep.
I was just thinking waka, waka, waka.
Sounds like something you should eat, right?
Wakaba.
I'm sorry, what? Did you have a stroke mid-sentence? What happened there? Wakaba.
It sounds like a Pokemon.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Wakaba,
no, it does,
wakaba,
yeah.
wakaba.
Go, Wakaba!
That's clearly a duck Pokemon, right?
Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet.
So, by pure chance, Yuki and Wakaba are selected to go shopping together. It was supposed to be Yuno and Yuki, but then the teacher's like, oh yeah, Yuno, I forgot your parents don't like you being late home. So, Wakaba gets sent with Yuki, and he is super happy about this because he thinks this is his opportunity. Yuno, for some reason, owns giant rabbit mascot outfit. And just as them Wakaba and Yuki are about to hold hands, she comes sprinting down the road and separates them.
Do you think maybe she's
Denied.
got a job on a different website?
What a furry one.
No, she just keeps the hat on.
This intrigues you. Senses peaked.
Does a bit of dancing.
Oh. I've just realised as well. It's not called Dancing Rabbit.
You don't know what the girls' version's called? Sure, that has to exist, right?
And then
Google
there's
through after the episode.
there's
Purely for science, audience. Purely for science.
then there's the vending machine scene where he's about to buy her a drink and
I love this bit. Just walks up, presses a different one.
Yuno just presses like several buttons of like horrible drinks.
Yeah, but then he's like, well, ruined that, and it's completely ruined that. I can't give her this drink that you've supplied me
And
instead.
then he's about to go to the toilet and he's like, once I've had the toilet, I'll give her the letter. And she blocks the toilet off and tells him, basically stops him from
Right,
using
can't
the
give a
toilet.
letter if it's covered in piss.
That's when he pulls the letter out, doesn't he? And he's like, what am I going to do with this? And then she tries to grab it. And he moves it out of the way at the last second. And he's like, why do you want this? Why do you want this letter? And she's trying to grab it out of his hand.
When does she scare the kid? Because that was funny as shit.
All the time during that time?
It's the
The
entire
first one.
sequence. Because he's like, yeah, rabbit. And
Like,
she's,
they step close to each other and you just see her running from the distance. Whacks in between them, runs around the corner and some kid there. It's like, hug. No!
Eventually, Yuki runs away from Yuno. She gets tackled to the floor by security guards because the kid pointed her out.
I mean, it's really not that difficult. The only one in a rabbit costume.
Yuki gives Wakaba the letter. Nothing comes of that. He gets denied, right?
No.
I think she turns
Yeah,
him
she
down.
turns him down, I think.
And then we see Yuno. She's walking home and she's like, oh no, I've missed my curfew. It's been 1 month since her parents died, so she walks in and she's like, wait a minute, it doesn't matter that I missed my curfew. My parents are already dead.
That bit. Oh no, I've missed curfew. Oh wait, hold on. They're dead. It doesn't matter. Sweet.
And we also get a flashback to her shutting them in the cage, saying that she wanted to give them a taste of their own medicine. In a sense, this girl, right, you'd want to give them a taste of their own medicine. You wouldn't want to kill them.
I thought it was just her mum.
No, she locks them both in.
Yeah, I know, but no, but you
because
get what
she
I mean,
blames
right?
Dad just as much as Mum, because the fucking dad didn't help the situation, did he?
We weren't there.
Yes,
was at
because he,
work.
because
Yeah, that's
he-
a problem.
That he's avoided the situation, which has made it worse.
Maybe, but does he know that that's happening? What's going on?
I don't know.
It just seems like, yeah, I can see how it got to that situation and why it's developed like that, but it just seems like it exacerbates very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I get the whole give them a taste of their own medicine, but you think she'd remember to feed them.
Yeah.
But in fairness, they don't feed her, which we see later. We cut to the present again, and Yuki is he's super sad about his mum dying, obviously. So he is brooding over that, and he goes to Deus and he says, "Bring her back. You're the god of time and everything. Bring her back." And Deus says, "I can't. There's nothing I can do." But Murmur turns around and goes, "Oh no, there's a way you can bring your parents back.
You just have to win the game. She actually says
Yeah.
you just have to win the game.
Basically, she's saying win the game. And when he comes back to his house, his dad turns up and he's got like a pawn shop ticket.
Yeah.
Yuki's like, "I know you killed Mum. And why have you got a pawn ticket? What have you pawned?"
He's got a golden ticket, has he?
It's-
A pawn ticket.
Then we see Nishijima, who approaches Yuno and goes to try and engage a conversation about the bodies in the hole in her back garden. This is at the police station as well, isn't it? He's pulled her in for questioning.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's in a cafe, sorry. And she
just gets up and
she
leaves?
stands up and just walks away.
At that point, you've got enough of a suspicion that the investigation should turn on to more of a criminal investigation. You know,
She's
there's
got
two bodies
body-
in the
yeah.
in the back garden.
But Nishijima's also aware of this game now. So he is treading carefully, especially around Yuno.
I mean, arrest her. She's literally murdered like a load of people
Are
already.
you going to go and try and put cuffs on her?
No, I'll
wouldn't-
tell you what. I'll get Yuki to do it, and then there we go.
Aha, foreplay.
Job done.
Jim's like, what's that?
So Yuki ends up following his dad to the pawn shop, and
No, you're not allowed to have control over the keyboard. That's why you're not allowed to sit there.
he sees his dad leave the shop with a bag and climb into a taxi, and he follows. Turns out his dad goes to this shrine, chases his dad to the shrine. He's got a telescope in the bag because he wants to take Yuki stargazing. And he turns to Yuki and he's like, "I didn't mean to kill your mum. It was a complete accident."
I just had a
She
knife
just
there.
fell
by.
into my knife.
Yeah, and he breaks down. He's like, "I know I've done wrong. I know I shouldn't have done it." Like, fuck. No.
But I bought you a telescope.
There is no excuse for what he did.
No,
At
there really
all.
isn't.
Nope.
At all.
I stabbed your mum, but here's a telescope, and let's go look at the stars. You know what, Dad? You make a lot of good points.
And-
If you look close enough, you might see your mum in heaven.
His
Oh.
his dad does it. His dad turns around and goes, "I'm gonna hand myself in
After we've looked at the stars.
after we've looked at the stars. I'm gonna hand myself in." And Yuki is like, "You're doing the right thing, Dad. You know, I forgive you because you're doing the right thing." Then his dad gets stabbed by some random guy who walks past.
Literally manages to approach without anybody ever seeing him. Like,
That's called
oh.
karma.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
Turns out that these guys who he was in debt to, obviously, have found him and killed his father. Then they turn on Yuki and are like, "It's nothing personal, kid."
I just want your telescope.
So then Yuki gets his diary out, grabs the knife, and just
It was personal to
fucking-
me.
Yeah, fucking kills two of them. And just as the third one's about to kill Yuki, he gets stabbed from behind. Yuno's there.
And this is the point where you're like, okay, now he's broke.
This is the
now.
point where Yuki turns around and goes, "I am going to win this game. I am going to bring my parents back." And then he turns his knife on Yuno. And he's like, "I don't need you anymore. I've found that,
drive to kill everybody.
yeah, the want to win." And Yuno is fine with it.
Wet.
Jesus. Not quite.
That's her jam right there.
She's ready. She's like,
Oh yeah, I bet she is.
I'll die when you want me to die.
If
Just
you
say-
want me to die now, but I'm actually more useful if you're keeping me around all the way to the end. She's playing with his head, right?
And the episode ends. Yeah, she is. And the episode ends with us seeing 11th, or the mayor, and he turns around and he says it's time to go all in. So it's leading to the end of this, what we think is the end of this game. And we also see that Deus is very much disintegrating at this point.
He's lost like half his eye.
Big chunks of him are falling away. And we go into episode 19. Episode 19 opens, it's in Sakurami City Hall. We see that the mayor is appealing to close the orphanage that is owned by, is it 8th?
Yeah. I always just call her mother.
Yeah, so...
That's what she is.
And the reason he wants to close the matron...
It's the adult man baby.
Yes. And the reason he wants to close this orphanage is because the matron is breeding killers from the orphanage. And he references I and Marco saying that these terrorists came from that orphanage. It's not a good place.
Have you proven that?
The records prove that they were from there.
From the orphanage?
Yeah.
That doesn't prove that
Yeah,
they
I was
actually,
gonna say,
the orphanage is
like-
doing that.
Yeah, it's true.
Are we forgetting about like the 15 years like between
The
those
orphanage
bits?
and them growing up? Yeah, no, that's not taking it. The mayor's
I mean-
like, he cries and he's like,
Of course it feels bad.
Save-
We're chucking these children out on the street. But, possibly,
"They're
we might be
terrorists."
stopping this.
He manages to convince the assembly that the orphanage helped the tower bombers. And he gets his own way. They vote to close it down. We also find out that first and second, Yuki and Yuno, have been missing for 5 days now. Nobody has known where they are.
And Deus is about to chuck them out of the game, isn't he? Because
Yes,
he's like,
so
they've stopped playing.
There's like a discussion in the Akashic records, and they discuss kicking first and second out the game because they seem to have gone missing and they don't seem interested in playing anymore. Just as Deus is about to agree to this, Yuno and Yuki arrive with this badass entrance. by the
Oh
way.
yeah, he
Do
just
you remember
pops
this?
in. He's just like,
When he's got
whoop,
Yuki, he's got Yuno hanging
hanging
on his arm
arm.
in a dress.
It literally looks like Jabba the Hutt with Princess Leia.
To be fair, though,
Yeah.
her in that dress, though.
Yuno,
Nah, not Eunice, but in that dress.
and he's in like, is he in
But
like a,
Jabba the Hutt, though.
is he in like a black suit?
In that dress. He is in like,
He's in a black suit as
no,
well.
it's
Yeah.
that jacket, isn't it?
Or is
Because
it
they-
black
I
jacket?
think it's a
He
black
has got
jacket.
like the pop collar
Yeah.
as well.
He
in
puts
it.
on his leather jacket. You
Yeah.
don't understand. It's Ghost Rider time.
Hey! I went Fox.
Yeah, he walks into Deus Ex's records and slaps the the fucking jukebox.
Just
Gets
literally
it going.
hits Deus's
Now
knee
listen
and he
here,
starts
God.
going.
He just heals him.
Yeah, I'm
Hits
fixed.
his knee and he's
Flips
fixed.
a quarter across the room.
So they arrive and they turn around and Yuki's like,
What's up, Daddy-O?
Yuki literally turns around and goes, "Shut up, 11th," or should I say,
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, damn.
And Deus turns around and goes, "Well, there's obviously no need for this facade anymore."
Because
And he
one
re-
person found out about one other contestant.
Does first and second know who Matron are?
It's the worst blind date ever.
Does he ever find out?
I don't know.
If he hadn't have revealed that, he
don't
wouldn't have known.
Mason might have been the only one who would have got away with it, but
I would have got away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids.
It's the second joke of mine he said tonight.
Damn right.
the mayor is like, "How did you know I was 11th?" Apart from the fact the silhouette looks exactly like the mayor.
And it sounds like the very famous would-be on TV mayor.
Yeah.
Yes, that person.
Yuki,
Who's that murderer?
it's Pikachu.
Mayor!
Yuki turns around and goes, "I spent 5 days sitting in City Hall, watching people come and go, getting updates and information on my phone, so I was able to work it out."
That's your tax yen at work there, by the way, guys. He didn't get kicked out once from City Hall.
And he also spoke to 8th and got 8th on board with his plan to take down 11th. Nishijima, in the meanwhile, has been placed on security detail for the mayor.
This guy gets around, right?
Nishijima, what is Nishijima supposed to do? I thought, like, what? What is he?
I thought he was a detective.
He's a homicide detective
Yeah.
who's now been put on personal protection detail for the mayor.
Why?
I don't know.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Maybe the mayor's phone told him to.
Well, I guess he knows
the
about
game.
8th. Because he knows what 8th's phone does, he knows that 8th knows her. Or he knows Nishijima.
I don't know.
No, because he has the Watcher diary, which knows what every other diary is doing. He knows
Yes.
8th knows Nishijima.
Yes.
So that maybe inspired him to put Nishijima on there,
Yeah,
because then
possibly,
they
yeah.
won't go
He might
for
thought
him.
that have your enemies close.
Well, 8th won't go for him.
Put your enemies closer, yeah.
Well, no, mine was just a sentence.
Yeah,
have your enemies close.
Keep your enemies close. Put your enemies closer.
Put your enemy's friends closer.
Your enemies, friends. This is
Your
getting more
dad's
convoluted
uncle's
than the plot.
friend's enemy.
Well, that's
Keep
what it
them
is.
really close.
It's literally like 8th is friends with Nishijima, so I'll put Nishijima on my staff.
So, as we said, Yuki has teamed up with 8th, and he has set up a ambush on the road to take down 11th as he's coming past.
I actually really like this.
This is when we really see that 8th is just a nice lady.
Yeah.
Like,
And we see that First is not a good guy.
No,
Not
so
a good guy.
The ambush begins. The car then emits an EMP explosion that takes out all of the orphans' subsidiary diaries.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to know where the entire city's budget went.
An EMP.
And why it's on a receipt for car EMPs, please.
This is when Yuki starts killing the orphans.
Goes Anakin Skywalker on them right here.
It was all a trick, all a ploy. Yuno takes the head off of that really
Oh,
sweet
the
girl.
sweet girl.
And then Yuki is like, don't...
Master Skywalker.
Yeah. They're killing us all, Master Skywalker.
Yuki turns around to them all and goes, don't worry, everybody. I know I'm killing you now, but I will bring you back once I'm God.
I imagine Yuno's in the background going... Just like... Ugh.
Nishijima pulls the car up. They pile 8th into the car with 11th and tries to flee. There's a chase scene, isn't there? A little bit of a chase scene. Yuno manages to take out the tyres on the mayor's car. They're just about to take out the mayor. Akase turns up. Yuno knew he was going to turn up, by the way. She had an update on the phone saying that Akase...
So does the mayor.
Yeah, they all did, saying that Akase had found out the identity of the third body in her garden.
I'm pretty certain the mayor turns around to him and he's like, "You're not going to kill me, because you're going to get stopped, not by my men, but by your friends."
Yes.
Oh, yeah, this is when they show up on the bike, isn't it?
Yes. They crash off the bridge. Akase turns up on Minane's bike, the one that
The
she's...
safest crash off a bridge you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, they
by
just
the way.
land perfectly.
Land perfect. All of them.
And Akase reveals that he found, in the old orphanage that Yuno was in, her umbilical cord. And it was the only piece of DNA he could find. And he matched it to the third body that was in the hole in Yuno's house. And he turns to Yuki and is like, she is not the real Yuno.
This is where I went, twin again. It's a twin. Like, this reinforced my twin theory.
And the episode ends with Yuki looking at Yuno, and Yuno's like, don't believe him, he's lying. And Yuki takes a step back, and he has like a look of shock on his face. So we've done 7 episodes so far. That's the end of part 3. How are we feeling about this?
I'm out.
You're out now.
I'm out now. I was enjoying it, and then it got messy, and the structure went fucking everywhere. Time was bouncing back and forth. You're making it more complex than it needs to be.
I think, yeah, they did this with this show, is that they created a plot that, one, had to fall in place right at the end. But not only did it have to fall in place, but they had to explain a hell of a lot at the end. Rather than you picking up bits as you went along, it was almost like, and we'll come to it in the next part.
25 episodes of mystery, and then one episode of going, and here's the big reveal. It's like, too long. Too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they finish the big reveal and then they go, well, actually...
And here's another
here's
mystery.
another thing that we're going to add on just to reinforce what happens at the end.
Yeah.
And then that could have been solved in 5 minutes
But
of footage.
Up to this,
Yeah.
up to this point, obviously, they've closed out this part with this whole Yuno isn't Yuno, which is a good mystery.
Yeah, I like it.
It's been pretty much the mystery
It's
all
nice-
along, has
it's
it not?
nice to have these bits thrown in, but
Yeah.
I want answers for other bits earlier.
Yes, and
That's the problem
as
I
we
have
said,
right now.
you're not getting all
Anything.
your answers until the last
Literally anything.
episode, maybe 2. That's it.
I'm still in at the moment.
I was
with this.
definitely
I'm
in.
still in.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's some things that I'm starting to get with, like, okay, give me context of why some of these other people. Like at the start, you got some context for why people wanted to actually win the game.
Yeah. It goes from a murder game to lots of other fucking questions.
Yeah.
What could have been a simple plot of a murder game with a little bit of mystery behind it, with who was and this and the other, has turned into a massively over-complex plot.
Yeah.
Just too complex.
Yes. And
Far too complex.
yes, they do it right, in the sense of they do give you all the answers
They give you all the
need.
answers, but not in an entertaining way.
No.
Not
Also-
in a way that'll carry you through interested.
Also, they break their own game at points.
Yes.
Like with the fact of, like,
3
the
day
Subsidiary
extra-
diaries. No, the
fu-
subsidiary diaries.
Yeah, subsidiary diaries. Why?
I didn't need that.
No.
I mean, it worked if you just had Matron have the diaries, because the diaries there is
Akase
like
could
all
have
of
got
her-
them out of that room. Then we didn't need a
Yeah.
like Kozuka to get a subsidiary
Like,
diary.
he could have just looked up and
There's
seen a grate.
Yes, there's a fucking vent. You
Like-
don't need a diary to tell you that event is your best way out.
Mm-hmm. Because not only that, but you never find out how they get those diaries or why they got those diaries. The only thing you then get is Matron has a diary which can send off extra diaries to her followers and her kids,
Yeah.
basically, which is fine. I don't mind that with one of them. Okay, you've got a diary which can give
Yeah, but
your
that could be
kids
her
something.
diary's ability.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
She
That's her
sees things
ability.
through her kids,
If
because that's what she
Subuki
would
would have
write
known
about.
how to do that, if Subuki would have known how to do that, the
Yeah.
woman who had a whole cult behind her, if she could have made subsidiary diaries, she
Yeah.
would have been unstoppable.
But they select and choose basis on plot. The
Yes.
matron, I understand. The only thing she would write about day to day would be her kids.
They could have
And what
just
they do.
had the orphans are on board with her winning the game, but
Well, they were.
don't have.
Yeah.
their-
Actually-
no, but they don't have their own diaries. They're just there to help her.
They could have a
support her.
page of hers. That's
Yes.
why, I mean,
I
a
liked
3-page
Marco
thingy kid
and
diary. Yeah.
right? And I like the fact that they're connected to the orphanage as well, because that brings in a little bit of
When it
cohesion?
gets to it,
La
you're like,
Familia?
Yeah.
You like a bit of that, don't
Yeah.
you? Like a bit of the...
Though their
heartwarm-
story was really well
Heartwarming.
done, and it was heartwarming, and the way they go out was beautiful, and it's the moment you really do sit there and go, "Oh, Yuki,
They're
just-
not good people.
He's not a good guy."
We didn't need that all the way up
Like
to there.
Yuno's a psycho, but this is the point where you're like, Marco and I over there, they're good people.
Yeah.
I do like the break.
He
I
was
like-
a good man.
I like
He was a good man.
I like the break and how they break them, with the fact that, oh, by the way, we've killed both your parents, and now he's thinking, oh, the only way I can bring them back is if I become Lord of Time.
That's once again another mystery / plot point. Is you've got Yuki who thinks that, oh, I can kill whoever I want now because it doesn't matter because I'll just bring him back.
Yeah, but I like that, and I also like the fact of that's why he's broke, because now he's literally like, I'll kill them all. I'll kill them all, and then I'll bring them back
he
later.
had to have a reason, didn't he? To
Yeah,
start
that's
changing.
his snapping point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's his breaking point, and I love it. And the way he breaks, and what he does to 8.
It takes him 5 days to turn into Neo.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, no, we see the break when his father gets killed, and then he kills all those people
Yes.
because he's like,
Yes, but,
I
but
now
5
have a
days
reason.
later he has a leather jacket.
I also
Yeah,
have a
he
reason
does
now
have
to
a
win
leather
this
jacket.
game.
He had a reason anyway. It's called survival,
That's what
which
he was
is
doing.
what he was running on.
Yeah.
But that's what he was running on,
He just
and now he's
Yeah, but
like,
he-
I
cranked
will
it
win.
up to 11.
He also wouldn't actively participate.
Yeah,
No.
now he
No,
does.
he was running on fucking like 2.
Instead
And
of
let someone
waiting for
else
people
around.
to come to him, he's hit this point where he's like, no, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, he goes from active to proactive.
Yes. And murders orphans in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and has no qualms about it either.
Well, that's
Because
how you
he'll
become a
just-
Jedi.
He'll just bring them back.
Sith.
A Sith.
Sith?
And on that note, it's time for us to chuff off. All you summoners can join us next time, where we will do the final part 4 of the Future Diary. If you've got any questions or queries, or just want to see what we're up to, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at How Not to Summon, or join our Discord at How Not to Summon a Podcast. I've been Shinny Senpai.
I've been Jim.
I've been Grayson.
See you later.
See ya.
Ta-ra.